Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Bart coming at you from the Back Row Fantasy Show, and we are going to do every Wednesday, and I guess I shouldn't say we because it might just be me, but every Wednesday I'm going to bring you an IDP primer for the week ahead, guys that you should be paying attention to, guys that you might be able to move on from, guys that you might want to grab on the waiver wire. And it's just going to be a short show every Wednesday to give you the edge in your IDP leagues. Life is busy. Most of us work 9 to 5s. So having some quick hitting analysis and suggestions is helpful. I need that myself. I don't always have the time to research. I miss guys on the waiver wire sometimes. I miss opportunities due to injuries or personal issues throughout the league. So I'm going to focus every Wednesday on getting my shit together and giving you guys an IDP primer every single week. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So IDP leagues. Right now, we're going to start at the defensive line position. Sam Hubbard is currently your number one defensive lineman. Listen, I don't love tooting our own horn. Arms is the one that likes to do that. But we've been talking about Sam Hubbard all year. All of 2019, we've been talking about Sam Hubbard as a breakout candidate. That time has come. It is true. He's the number one linebacker through 4 weeks. So if you didn't already grab him or acquire him, it's probably too late. But folks that listen to the show and grab Sam Hubbard per our urging, you are welcome. And we are welcome to ourselves because we didn't miss on that one like we do so often. So here's another guy. Here's some guys that you want to look at. Well, I'll go through the top 5. Hubbard's your number 1, followed by Cameron Hayward, which is great. He's not normally a top 5. So far this year he is. He's stepped up his game. Myles Garrett has been sensational. And Danielle Hunter, another guy that we're always touting. No matter if he has an off year or not, the talent is immense, and he rounds out the top 4. I didn't write down the 5th. Guys that you want to pay attention to. Taco Charlton. He's available in just about every league I'm in. I'm going to pick him up in every league I'm in if I can. Ever since he was released by the Cowboys and picked up by a hapless Miami defense, he has performed very well. He's got a sack in both of his games with the Dolphins so far, and he's a guy that I would pick up. He was inserted pretty much straight into the starting lineup from the get-go. That shows you he still has some talent, even though it's for Miami, who is almost talentless on the defensive side of the ball. But Charlton has made his presence felt, and I liked him coming out of college. I thought he was a good prospect. I still have hope for Taco Charlton, and he's helping me by giving me some of that hope with his play over the last 2 weeks. A very low-key guy that you could pick up right now, Nick Williams from the Chicago Bears. He has 4 sacks over his last 3 games, and don't be afraid of the fact that he's 29 years old. Defensive end, maybe more than any other position, has late bloomers. They don't always start well from the gate. You look at Quinnen Williams in New York for the Jets. He's done nothing this season. Guys like Marcus Davenport, it's his 3rd year. He's not doing a lot. I still have hope for guys like that. It takes defensive ends longer than 3 years to figure it out, as opposed to wide receivers in a lot of cases. But don't worry about age with defensive ends. Cameron Wake is still ownable and rosterable in leagues because he is still doing what Cameron Wake does, just not at the same clip as he used to, but he's still performing. He's still worth owning. So guys like Nick Williams, this could be your buy low opportunity if you need a defensive lineman. You should be able to get him for nothing or next to nothing. No one's going to be picking this guy up unless they're doing deep research. Nick Williams, grab him if you need a defensive end. I plan on doing that in all my leagues as well because I have defensive ends that are disappointing right now across all my leagues. Ed Oliver, disappointing. DeMarcus Lawrence, disappointing. He was one of my favorites heading into this season and last season. He's not doing much. Jadeveon Clowney might be time to move on if you can get value. Frank Clark, D. Ford, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's more of a disruptor than a stat stuffer. So if you, Melvin Ingram and Yannick Ngakoue, I got those as my disappointments through 4 weeks. If you can move them for picks or players, don't feel bad about moving big-name defensive ends. Defensive end is not going to necessarily win you your league. You just need a couple guys that are consistently 6+ points a week guys. So those big names, I'm comfortable moving on at this point. J.J. Watt, he is ascending. You might want to go out and grab J.J. Watt. He's had 2 big games in a row. He started out a little slow. Now he's killing it. So if you bought him low in the first 2 weeks, good job. J.J. Watt, I don't expect him to stop. He's J.J. Watt. When he's on the field and he's healthy, he's going to produce. Let's move on to linebackers. Shaq attack, baby. Linebackers, Shaquille Barrett and Shaquille Thompson are performing a Shaq attack on the league right now. Shaq Barrett has 9 sacks over 4 games. And listen, I picked up Shaq Barrett for $1 football dollar before last week's game because people are afraid to go after rush linebackers. They want those Blake Martinez-like guys in the middle that rack up tackles, but you can't ignore what Shaq Barrett is doing right now. 9 sacks in 4 games. He's on his way to a record. The only thing that could slow him down is injury. So Shaq Barrett, if he's still out there, he should not be, but if he is, grab him now. Shaq Thompson for the Carolina Panthers is really having a breakout season. Shaquille Thompson, based on name value alone, is not a big name at all. If you can acquire him, do that. Don't overpay, but these are guys with smaller names that you might be able to get less than the value they're actually putting up per game. Devin Bush, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker, he's starting to come on. He's a good pickup if you can get him. That'll be hard to do. I do understand that. Vontaze Burfict out for the season, hopefully for the rest of his life. Tahir Whitehead is an excellent pickup. He was already performing well. He's just going to perform even better now. Devondre Campbell, small name, massive pickup. Deion Jones for the Falcons, not exactly blown up the world with his stats, but Devondre Campbell is. He had a massive game last week. He's a very, very savvy pickup if you can get him or trade for him. Also, buy low on Ogletree. We've got Ryan Connolly out for the season with an ACL tear. Ogletree's getting ready to come back. Ogletree was worth owning anyways, but if you can buy him low, I think that's a great idea. Also, in reference to Ryan Connolly, they did promote a guy from the taxi squad, Josiah. I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I'm sure, but Josiah Tuefa. He was promoted from the practice squad, and he is seen by the Giants as an ascending player. So he is somebody that I would want to grab if I had a roster spot because Ryan Connolly was performing pretty well out of that middle linebacker spot for New York. The kid Josiah, he could get inserted into big snaps pretty soon. They don't have a lot of guys to cover those snaps that Ryan Connolly was covering. So remember that name, Josiah Tuefa. To me, he's a guy worth a grab and stash if you have the room. Also, keep an eye on Cole Holcomb of the Redskins. He's a rookie linebacker. He's had a few nice weeks in a row. The Redskins don't have big names at the linebacker position, so keeping an eye on a guy like Cole Holcomb is very important. You can pick him up now, put him on the taxi, maybe a few more weeks of big production. You have a guy that you can take and put into your starting lineup as a linebacker 3. Last 2 weeks, he's produced those type of numbers, so eye on Cole Holcomb. As far as disappointments with linebackers, Todd Davis, Miles Jack, Wesley Woodyard, and Quan Alexander have all underperformed. I would be comfortable moving on from all of those guys, to be honest. There's really nobody in that group that I think has long-term major upside. Miles Jack has been a name more than he has been a producer the whole time he's been in the league. So I'm comfortable moving on from those guys. This week's massive pickup, even if it's just for a week, but it's worth a shot no matter what. Nick Kwiatkowski, a guy that Arms has loved for years over in Chicago, just had a massive double-digit tackle game, also had a sack in that game. He is playing in place of Roquan Smith, who there's been some mysterious things in Chicago as to why he hasn't been playing. Apparently those reasons are personal, but no one has given much clarification to the subject, and it doesn't look like he's going to play for Week 5. I absolutely would grab Nick Kwiatkowski ASAP. ASAP, right now. Pick up Nick Kwiatkowski in the case that Roquan has some kind of a personal issue that's long-term. Maybe we see this all the time. Players have things happen to them mentally that can really take them out of games, really jeopardize their career. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to Roquan Smith, but the fact that he's going to miss 2 games over personal reasons, fire up Nick Kwiatkowski. If Kwiatkowski plays multiple games, he is a linebacker 2 all day long. He's always had the talent, never had the opportunity. He's a small name on a team that loves big names. Khalil Mack, Roquan, Eddie Jackson. To me, Eddie Jackson's a big name anyways. But Nick Kwiatkowski, go pick him up. He will pay off massively for you. On to the last position. Cornerbacks, safeties, defensive backs. Your leaders right now are Kendall Fuller, Eric Weddle, Jelani Jenkins. Is it Jelani Jenkins? No, it's Jenkins. You guys know who I'm talking about. Janoris Jenkins, Dre Kirkpatrick, and Charvarius Ward. Okay, so here's the thing. We always suggest to go with safeties where possible. But right now, just about every safety is disappointing. I don't know if it's the league going to a shorter passing game. There's so many. The deep ball is still there, but so many teams are tearing other teams up with short and intermediate passes, and I think cornerbacks are getting a lot of tackle opportunities out of that. So I have changed my strategy for this season, and I've picked up Dre Kirkpatrick. I've picked up a couple corners from the Jets that keep getting roasted. You don't need great players at the defensive back position this year. You just need corners that are at the right place at the right time for fantasy, not for real football, because it's the wrong place, wrong time. They're getting tackles like crazy. So do not overpay for a safety right now. Grab those cornerbacks that are leading the league in fantasy points right now that you can get for next to nothing, because people don't go for cornerbacks like they do safeties. I'm going all cornerback this year. I'm good. I'm sick of watching my safeties not do anything. I've dropped a handful of them. I'm going cornerbacks all the way. They're producing big this season for whatever reason. So guys like Fuller, guys like Jenkins, Dre Kirkpatrick, and even Charvarius Ward, they're going to give you points. What else matters? So grab them. Let's see. Buys. We've got Jermaine Whitehead. I know I just said grab corners, but Jermaine Whitehead, safety for the Browns, has had a couple good weeks out of 4. He's a solid buy. Eric Harris in Oakland since the Abram injury. He's been pretty good. Tavon Wilson, keep an eye on him. He had a huge game last week. Kahari Willis of the Colts has had a few nice games as well, and he's a rookie with taxi squad eligibility. He's a guy that you might want to pick up and hold on to and just wait and see. But roll with those hot cornerbacks. Grab those safeties with super big upside. Grab those rookies that are performing, because that's always a good sign. But don't be afraid to roll with cornerbacks right now. They are producing big names, small names of all kinds. The top 20 in our IDP leagues are filled with cornerbacks. Go out and grab them. Go win your IDP leagues. Hopefully this Week 5 IDP primer gave you some information and some ammo to get a more well-rounded team to go beat your opponents. That's what it's all about. A good starting lineup. Doesn't matter what the names say. Big names are just big names sometimes. Get the guys that are producing. Roll with them. Switch in and out. Cornerbacks, I think especially. Once they've had a few bad games, you can dump them, pick up the hot guys. Use your waivers accordingly for defensive backs. I use waivers every single week to switch in and out cornerbacks more than any other position based on matchup, based on how they're doing. You got to do what you got to do. That's the most fluid position, defensive back. Always dropping, always adding. So good luck Week 5. Hopefully you enjoyed the IDP primer. We'll bring a show to you Friday, but we're going to keep this IDP primer up. Let us know if it helped you. Let us know if there's any other wrinkles we can add. Can we throw in an offensive primer on a Thursday before the game? You let us know. Check us out. Also, hit us up on Twitter. Find our premium content at Red Circle. $5 a month gets you all our premium episodes. Thanks for listening. Bark's out. Good luck week 5.